Hi friends. So I'm just gonna have you get ready with me today. So I have already wet my perfector sponge. So I put it under the water a couple of times, wring it out until it's really wet, and then just squeeze it out in a dry towel. So when you first get your perfector sponge, it'll be like this size, and then after you wet it, it'll get to about this big. So I like to start because I tend to have oily skin. Especially this time of year in Florida when it's still muggy, we haven't really cooled off yet. I spray my perfector sponge with Stay Spray setting. I use the SPF because the more sunscreen for me, the better. But there is one without sunscreen if you're interested in that. So just gonna let that dry a little bit. I'm gonna do full face today with some new colors. I'm gonna start with my brightening highlight. So if you've been color matched, I will suggest two colors, your brightening and your regular highlight color. So I like to take Buffy, which is this brush, and I take the smaller ends and I'm gonna dip it into my lighter color, which is Candlelit. So you don't need all these colors. This is an artist palette. I have these to be able to help color match you. You really only need 4 to 5 colors. I am just like stippling, like very gently. I'm not wiping, I'm not loading it up. I think that's the biggest mistake with this makeup is that you put too much on the brush. I'm also not wiping here. I'm just dabbing or stippling. And I'm just creating this triangle. So I'm going from inner corner of my eye down to the edge of my nose up to my eye. And literally this is like caffeine for your face. So dipping back in, stippling. And I'm also, while I'm here, gonna go ahead and do my eyelids. Whether I'm gonna put eyeshadow on or not that day, I like to do my eyelids because there's some discoloration and they're veiny and I feel like it just makes my eyes brighter. Okay, so I have a brightener on. I'm gonna do kind of like, it's almost like a little rainbow shape here. Down the center of my nose, middle of my chin. Okay, so that is step 1 of 3D foundation. So that is 1D. So now we are gonna do contour. I'm gonna take the 30-second hack brush. So it looks like this. I'm gonna dip this end into my contour. I use Indigo, which is one of the darker contour colors. I'm going to go around my hairline. If you have a smaller forehead, you will need less around your forehead. This is just to create shadow and dimension. And again, I'm just stippling. I would say of all the steps in the 3D foundation, this one you can be heavier on. On your highlight colors, definitely have a lighter hand. So I'm gonna find my cheekbones, top of my ear, when it gets soft here. Another good rule of thumb, so you don't wanna come too far. Basically where the colored part of your eye starts, you don't want to go past that spot, okay? So I'm just gonna come right along my cheekbone, not past where my iris starts. And again, I am stippling, I am not rubbing. Looks kind of scary at first, but do you see how already this side of my face, my cheekbones look lifted? Okay, stippling. Doing the other side, right along my cheekbone. Not further than, it might look like here I've gone a little bit further, but that's really just redness in my own skin tone. Stippling in, going along my jawline. Then I'm not actually going to dip back into my compact. I'm just going to use what I had here to blend. Okay, so I do my nose like the very last thing because I have some redness on my nose that I like to cover before I do my contour. Guys, my hair color is like really needing to refresh one of these days. Okay, so we've done 1D, 2D. So we did our brightener, we did our contour. Now we're gonna do 3D for 3D foundation. So I'm taking my second highlight color, so the darker of the two that you were color matched. I'm going back to my Buffy brush. I like to use the larger end, and I used Amber as my darker color here, which I'm also almost out of. And so pretty soon I will just take this little magnetic tin, pop it out, set it on my stovetop until it melts and like actually will look like that again, all smooth and nice and neat. I'll let it cool completely. Do not move it before it's cooled. I've done it and made big messes. Let it cool and then just pop it back in and you really get your $14 worth. Okay, so I'm stippling into Amber again, not a ton of product on the brush. And the first area that I do is like, if I were a man, like everywhere that my beard would grow, okay? I'm gonna look in this mirror too to help me here. Okay, so that's the first place. Like everywhere my beard would grow. And like I did not use a lot of product and you can see how much coverage I got. And that's the amazing thing about this makeup is that it can be as natural or as glam as you want it to be. It can be a daily busy mom to, you know, super glam stage makeup. All right, so obviously this is not where my beard grows, but I'm going back to where I do not have makeup right now. So I had my brightener here. So I'm going in and filling in where I did not have makeup. Now, if you don't have redness in here like I do, you really might not even need to go as far as I do. And like the redness in my nose, if you don't have that, totally skip this. Okay, so now I have done 1, 2, 3 steps in the 3D foundation. So I'm just gonna continue with Buffy and I'm just gonna blend a little bit of this contour out. I'm actually gonna use the smaller end. If you are using your own brushes, which I did at first, I started wearing this makeup almost 3 years ago and have loved it. I mean, absolutely loved it. And finally, with the change of life circumstances with COVID and staying home with my kids and homeschooling, I've always been a makeup girl. And I thought, you know what? It is such a small investment. You can buy a $200 kit or a $400 kit to become an artist. That's it. That's all you have to spend. And it's very easy to drop that much money at Ulta for me. So my husband was like, do it. If it flops, it flops. Well, I have had so much fun playing makeup for my job. So anyway, all right, I'm blended. Now I'm gonna take my actually I'm gonna do, let's do cheeks. All right, I got some new colors, guys. Like, look at all these fun colors. I mean, I almost have every color. So exciting. Okay, so for my cheeks today, I am gonna do nude. And I'm going to use my blush and bronzer brush that looks like this. I'm gonna use the smaller side. This is a pretty firm brush, okay? So like my dab, my stipple into my nude is like very, very light because these cheek colors are super concentrated. I tend to kind of take the excess off on my hand as well. We don't want to take our blush too close, right? So we want to keep this bright in here, our contour here. So it's just like right above our contour here. Okay. I don't know if I finished my thought about the brushes. Okay, so if you're using your own brushes, fine, totally okay. Just make sure they're clean before you put them in your new makeup. And I promise you, when you are able to make the investment, that the brushes are game changer. The makeup is so affordable. The brushes are a bit of an investment, but if you were to compare other brushes, they're really not that expensive, but completely worth it. So if you can, buy the brushes, at least a few to apply your face makeup. Okay, so I have done 2 highlight colors, contour, cheek. I have now gonna do my bronzer. All right, so this is Bella Bronzer. This is Glow Illuminator. I like to mix the two. And this is something I am not light-handed about. I just like zhoosh it in there, but I do stipple this as well. And I have yet to find someone that I feel like the bronzer does not really just brighten their face and change the makeup. So bronzing is different than contouring. So we want to bronze where the sun would hit us or kiss us. So forehead, nose, cheeks. All right, so I'm gonna go with my, have I done my sponge yet, guys? I don't think I did. Can't really see in this. No, I haven't. I can tell I haven't. Okay, this is where the magic happens. Sponge is out of stock. I promise it will come back, and I promise this is not how the company always is. Before I became an artist, I never actually had anything ever go out of stock that I needed. So I know you guys are frustrated, but know that it's totally COVID. Like we have less people in the lab, less people, in operations and in manufacturing. So just be patient, be kind. We'll get our sponges and you'll love them. Okay, so I'm gonna do some new eye colors today. Oh, nose, I did not do my nose yet. I'm gonna use my detail hack, this end. I'm gonna dip back into my indigo contour. So there's all kinds of ways that you can contour your nose. You don't have to contour your nose. You can use the detail hack like this and just create lines. You can use the multitasker brush to create lines. I tend to use this one, and I like either this end or this end. Today I actually haven't done it this way in a while, so I'm just gonna play with you guys. But I've dipped into my indigo, starting up at my eye. Making a thin line. The thinner your lines are together, the thinner your nose will look. I do a little heavier on the left because of the way my nose curves. And then I'm just gonna wipe off the excess. And with a very light hand, so I'm holding back at the end of this brush, I'm just going to blend. Then I'm gonna go back into, with my ring finger, into my lighter highlight color, just candle it, and just go down the middle. So then I have this darker on the sides and this lighter in the middle, creating the look of a straight nose. Okay, all right, let me set my makeup. Last thing before we do eyes, I like to keep my vanilla dust powder separate from my creams. So I have it down here in the bottom of this compact, and I am really gonna load up my, actually, you know what? I wanted to try something new because I just got the Power Powder brush and I saw another artist use this. So here's what they look like when they come. They're wrapped all nice like this. So I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna use this end, and from what I was listening to this artist say, instead of instead of the blush and bronzer brush, you're gonna get a heavier application of the vanilla dust, and I can totally see why, because this brush is a lot firmer than this brush. So this might be this oily skin girl's new best friend. We shall see. Nicole Roberts, you might need one of these in your life because we have very similar skin problems. So this powder, it looks very light, right? But it's just translucent. And I feel like looking in the video that I need more blush. I'm just gonna add a little more. Then we're gonna do eyes. Okay, so you can see I did a little heavy-handed there. No big deal. Just gonna blend it out. There, that's better. Okay, so on my eyes, I'm gonna start using my rose gold illuminator. Let me show you on my hand what this looks like. Well, there's my blush. Let's look in here. So it's very translucent. If you're a glam girl, don't use the creams, go for the powders. Just gonna apply a little bit in areas that I want to reflect light. And guys, if you are, you know, closer to 40, 50, 60, I feel like this step is like, really brings life and youth and light to your face. Okay, and then I'm gonna use it as my primer as well on my eyes. So today I am going to use Sabrina Foxy. What did I decide? Sabrina Foxy Fin and Philly, and look how pretty these are. So Sabrina, Foxy, Fin, Philly. Okay, and I've never used Philly as an eyeliner. You guys know I'm a cocoa girl, but we're gonna try it. All right, so I am using my eyeshadow everything brush. Looks like this. Taking the denser end, taking my Sabrina, and I'm a green eye, brown hair girl. There are not a lot of eye looks that I do not use Sabrina on myself. And blondes, redheads, Sabrina is a great color. And of all my eyeshadows, for how long I've had them, it's definitely the one that I actually might have to order again. You can see it's well loved. Okay, so I did Sabrina corners of my eyes, up against my brow bone. Okay, now I'm going into my Foxy, and I'm gonna go from my lash line to my crease. And then I'm gonna take, and in between I am just wiping off the excess of my eyeshadow everything. Right now I'm going into my Fin. I'm just gonna do Fin along the lash line at the bottom. Ooh, Fin has got some pigment, guys. Hello, Fin. Let me put it on my hand so you guys can see. That is Mr. Fin. So pretty. Okay. Now, I actually think I'm going to blend that in a little bit, take it into the crease some before I do Philly. Change my mind. This eye is looking a little darker. That's no biggie. Okay, now I'm going into Philly. And Philly I'm going to do just in my crease. This is like definitely a date night eye for me. So let's see if I can get Sean McNeil to take me on a date. I have really gotten in the out of the habit of wearing eyeshadow. I'm just kind of have been doing liner and mascara. I was working from home and then started homeschooling. And now that I have all these fun colors, all right, I'm taking my eyeshadow, everything, the larger end, I'm dipping it into Foxy, and I'm just gonna blend all of this out. But now that I'm getting like all this free product from being an artist and people want to see the colors in person and see them on me, I'm like totally becoming this eyeshadow girl again. It's funny how we go in phases. There were definitely like years and years that I would have never even like gone to the lake without eyeshadow on. It's his life, I guess. Okay. All right, how are we looking? All right, I'm gonna take Buffy and just clean this up a bit. Guys, when you're coming in and just kind of getting in those fine lines under your eyes, be gentle. Don't pull that skin. Voice of Deb Causey coming out. Okay. All right, so hotline brush. Just gonna give these brows a little brush. Going to do the same with the lashes. Curl these babies. Oh man, put my eyelash curlers here, and it is. If you don't curl your eyelashes, you need to. I don't really think that the brand matters, just whatever. But if it hurts you, you're doing it wrong. I whitened my teeth. I feel like I can tell. Okay, eyelashes. All right, so I'm gonna take the multitasker and I'm gonna spray it with Day Setting Spray. I'm gonna dip it into Philly, which is my darkest color here. I'm just gonna make sure it's not too wet. It's a nice cocoa color. Might have to look over here. Sorry guys, bear with me. I like just a little liner on the bottom. I never go past my pupil. Ooh, I'm gonna like this. The really nice thing about these shadow to liners is that I feel like they're just more forgiving than the harsh line of a liner. You know, my mom, I think, started doing it that way because she couldn't see well. And so it was more forgiving, but I just feel like as we're getting older, it creates just a softer, more forgiving liner. I like it. So I finally got Love Spell lip color, and I cannot wait to show you guys. It is going to be a new favorite. All right, and I think I'm gonna just go ahead and try Philly in my brows as well. And you can use Hotline. It creates like nice little brush strokes. My eyebrows are microbladed, so they don't need a lot, and it's not hard to get everything in the right places because it just does not have to be exact. I go back and forth, but I already have this into the Philly color, so might as well just keep on trucking. Try it in the brow. Okay, doesn't that just look more finished? I'm going to blend it out with some of the Vanilla Dust powder, but brows really frame your face. If you're scared of brows, guys, just try. Just try to give them a little more life. They really should go from inner eye. The arch should be at your iris, and then if you were to take a straight line out to from your nose, they should end there. I do wish mine had a little more of a curve to them, but I wasn't really willing to microblade way out of my natural curve. I don't want my eyebrows to look like I measured them and, you know, that they took 30 minutes. I just want them to frame my face. Okay, so I'm gonna go back with my eyeshadow everything brush, larger end. I'm gonna dip into my Vanilla Dust setting powder. I'm just gonna go over each brow. And then I'm gonna take my hot line brush and just brush them out. And I just feel like it makes it a little softer. That's all. And I feel like I look kind of shiny. Maybe it's the lighting, but let me just put a little Vanilla Dust on. All right, we are gonna mascara and before you mascara, I learned this from a fellow artist and I like it. So Linen is a very light highlight color. So I am going to take my multitasker brush with, like, honestly what you think is the lip end. I'm gonna dip it into Linen. I'm just gonna brighten. So this is a cream because it's one of our highlights. Just gonna brighten around the corner of my eye and under my brow bone. I'm just gonna blend a little, the light hand. One of these days I'm gonna get my nails done before I do a video. I'm such a picker. Like, if they even just start to mess up a little bit, I pick them off. Okay. Do you think that brightened? I do. Okay. All right, let's do some mascara and some lip. Okay, new thing I'm doing also is using contour colors as my lip liner. So I'm going to show that to you guys. I'm going to use the same color, indigo, even though it's kind of bold. But for those of you who don't want to buy multiple, you know, honestly, you could even use your Bella bronzer as your liner. That's the great thing about these products, is that they are so versatile and all can be mixed. You really do not need to spend a lot of money to get started and understand if you like the products. And I know for me, it took a little bit for my skin to get used to the cream foundation because I was really like just a tinted moisturizer girl. But I was kind of like at the age where I needed more coverage. And when I first started wearing it, you know, my mom's like always gonna be super honest with me, you know, when I'm trying to be fashionable and wear a high-waisted bathing suit and I think I'm cute, and she's like, babe, I'm like, what do you think, Mom? She's like, I mean, I know that they are in fashion and it is cute, but like your backside, it looks like 3 times bigger than it actually is. I'm like, she's right again. So if you're a curvy girl like me and you're okay with your backside looking bigger, good for you. But I feel like you gotta be like super thin or super tall and thin to get away with being that fashionable. Okay, so light mascara application. I do waterproof on my bottom lashes just so that it doesn't smudge, and I do very little on my lower lashes. And if I were like this was gonna be date night, I would put some more on. I'd probably do another coat. All right, let's do lips. So we're gonna take multitasker, one of my favorite brushes. I'm gonna get all of that eyeshadow off and I'm gonna go into my contour color. if you're using these brushes, if you are using your own brushes, like I said, like let's make sure that they're clean, but let's make sure that we're cleaning them correctly. Do not use Dawn dish soap. I've done it myself. And it leaves a residue on the brushes. And just does not make the makeup do its best. So I suggest alcohol or just white vinegar. We have a great brush cleaner spray that I've never invested in personally until now, being an artist where I'm doing like multiple applications and I don't always have time to like do the process and let them dry. The spray is almost like a dry cleaner, like spray it, clean it, it's dry, ready to go, next face kind of thing. Sorry, I can't talk when I'm doing the upper lip. And I just am being very light-handed with the indigo. Okay, and now I'm going to dip the other end of this multitasker into my new favorite right here, Love Spell. Let me put it on my arm so you guys can see. Isn't that pretty? So obviously more, you could do like a super sheer application or put more to get more depth of color. And it is a great mixing color as well. All right, guys, let's see, 30 minutes, full face, talking, cleaning brushes. Tell me what you want to see, guys. Tell me what questions you have. I want to help you. I really want some of you guys to become artists and discover how fun this is and how great it's been for me. Okay, that's what's fun. Thanks for watching.